This is the LG G Watch, one of 3 products that we know of currently that are running Android Wear. This is one of the best attempts at a smartwatch that we've seen so far, and it takes what something like the Pebble did really well and just makes it that much better. The hardware itself is pretty simple. It comes in 2 colors, white and black, and consists of a square face with no physical buttons and an always-on screen. This makes interaction really easy. Just lift your wrist and the screen comes on and tells you what you need to know. The bands on the watch are made out of rubber and they do feel pretty comfortable. They kind of stick to you if you get a little sweaty, but they are user replaceable, so you can put something like a leather band on here and make it a lot nicer. The screen is a 1.6-inch IPS display and it works pretty well. The colors are a little bit muted and it's a relatively low pixel density, but you can see it in all conditions, even including bright daylight. The battery on the inside is rated at 400 mAh and it's said to get about a day, and I found that when I'm using it, that's about true. You get about a day. Now with really light use, I'm sure you can squeeze out another half day out of it, but if you're using it regularly and using it as it's intended, you're probably going to have to charge it every single night, so prepare for that. But luckily, when you have to charge it, you don't actually have to plug anything in. It comes with a magnetic charger brick that you just lay the watch on and it starts charging, so it's a little bit less of a hassle, although you're going to have to charge it every single day. It's also an IP67 rated device, so it's water resistant and dust resistant, which means you can wash your hands, you can go out in the dirt, and it should be just fine. So moving on to the more important part here, which is the software. It's running Android Wear, which on its own can do a few basic tasks like tell the time, but to get really the most out of this watch, you're going to need to connect it to an Android device. To connect it, all you have to do is download the Android Wear app from the Play Store and go through the steps on screen, and you're connected and good to go. The way to describe the OS is essentially Google Now cards on your OS. It is a full-fledged version of Android, but they really simplified it down to be on your wrist and really just showed you all the Google Now cards that you're used to. So if you go to Google Now on your phone, all those cards will be on your wrist as well. The basic functionality of the watch include taking a note, setting a reminder, showing your steps for the day, sending a message, sending an email, navigation, and setting a timer, stopwatch, and alarm. All those things are built right into the watch and you won't have to install any third-party software to do those. But it does do more. It does show all of your notifications, whether it be a text message, an email, a social notification, or pretty much anything else, it'll show up on your wrist. You can then take action on these notifications by either responding to them or opening them up right directly on the phone. If you see a notification and just want to get rid of it, all you have to do is swipe it away. And one good thing is that it does sync over to your phone, so there's not going to be any redundant notifications there. If you swipe it away on your wrist, it's going to be gone on your phone as well. Now, not all apps can be responded to directly on the watch right now. That's really up to developers to give functionality to their apps so that it'll work on Android Wear. But you will be able to dismiss the notifications or open them directly on the phone. But for those notifications that you can respond to, all of it is done by voice. So say I get a text message and I want to respond, I just say, "Okay Google, send a text to Alexa." Then you say your message and it'll send it off once it's complete. This works the same for pretty much every voice command. Now I found the voice commands to be pretty accurate and I never really had to repeat myself. I did find that sometimes it would do a Google search instead of actually doing the command I wanted, but I think that's more of Google Now's problem because that does happen on my phone as well, so just something to keep in mind. Now fundamentally this is a watch, so it has to tell the time, and there's a ton of different watch faces you can choose from. They all do the basic same thing and have the same functionality. They just look a little bit different and give you some customization. But because this is running a full-fledged version of Android, you can install third-party apps to give you more customization and more functionality. There's a ton in the Play Store and they get updated every day, but some of the things you can do is create a custom watch face, play Flappy Bird, you can get a launcher so you can open up apps quicker. There's a lot of things that you can do through third-party applications, and to install them, all you have to do is download the app from the Play Store and it'll go directly to your watch. It's pretty easy. Now one thing to keep in mind, and something that I wasn't exactly expecting, is that the watch doesn't really do anything. I know it sounds weird after all the things I just mentioned, but the watch itself doesn't really do much. The watch itself only does a few basic tasks. Everything else is just a bridge from your phone to your wrist. So if you want to take action on a lot of things, all you can do is open them up on your phone. It's not a huge deal, but I think that it's important to note that your phone is essential to making this watch work, and without it, it's just a watch. So I really enjoyed the LG G Watch. I was never really a hardcore fan of smartwatches. I always liked the functionality and thought it was pretty cool, but I never really saw myself using one every day, and that's until I got this. Android Wear is really well done, and even though it's in its infancy, it can see a lot of potential in it. Getting your notifications on your wrist is really nice compared to getting it in your pocket. It's a lot easier to feel. And being able to interact by voice is really nice, especially if you don't have your hands free. That's when I find that this is really good. If you don't have your hands, this watch really does help. Now, I'm not sure if smartwatches are going to be the next big thing or if they're just going to be a fad, but I do know that at some point we're going to be moving away from our smartphones into something else, and I think that a smartwatch is at least a baby step to that point. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys hit that like button, and if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'll respond to as many as I can. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see when my future videos are uploaded. My name is Matt, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.